play Minecraft and they talk about, you know, what they're doing in the game. Sometimes they're just talking about nonsense. But these guys will pull down insane numbers on YouTube. Yeah. They'll, you know, we'll spend an afternoon putting together a video that requires like 5 people on our staff between, you know, Damon as a host, the person behind the camera, the editor, and all that kind of stuff. And then we produce art around it, we build it. And that could do, I don't know, like 200,000 views maybe. And we, yeah, that was a great video. Yeah. These guys that are just like you, sitting in their bedrooms, capturing something with a video card and talking about it, they get really good at what they do and they build an audience, and they're pulling down 2-3 million views per video that they're putting out. And it's going to be even easier. The PlayStation 4 will let you stream, you know, right from the console.
Yeah.
So
press that share button.
Yeah.
Right. Make money. Yeah.
Totally. That'll be great practice. Now, Greg. Greg, hi Greg. Hey. So you actually, last year, you went to a conference about YouTube, and you got all excited when you came back, and you actually put together 2 sort of non-IGN Greg-branded shows on YouTube, the Oreo-ation, and Conversations with Colin.
Thanks for telling me I'm the diabetes.
So, talk a little bit about what you learned at that conference, and maybe share some of the things that these guys, if they're interested in YouTube, what they would do.
Well, I mean, you all should be interested in YouTube. Period. If you want to do this job, that's where this is going. It's an industry moving towards video. It's moving towards personality, right? Like, I mean, we're all up here and we're all distinct personalities on IGN, and that's one of the reasons we work so well as a team. So you need to be doing it. Just like I was talking about, I had the experience when I finally got hired as a writer. If I was coming up right now, I'd be putting up videos nonstop, and I'd be writing at the same time, putting them in the middle of my blog, talking to the camera. That's how people engage. You need to learn how to edit video. You need to do all this stuff. I didn't know any of this. Last year when we started Up at Noon, thank you, one Up at Noon fan. Greg.
Oh God, is Greg here? That was so amazing.
And so they sent me to VidCon, which is basically GDC for YouTube. You know, you get to go there. You're like, sorry, we weren't interesting enough. People leaving.
They just realized, man, I'm just not going to cut. I'm not going to cut. I got to learn how to write.
So no, anyways, I went
to a complete sentence.
So I went to VidCon, and it's basically GDC, which is Games Developers Conference next week, for YouTube, where you learn from other people who are doing it. There's all these panels about how to make your videos better, how to, you know, get penetration in the market, how to have social media, all that other penetration. And it was one of those things I think I'm in that age where, you know, YouTube came after I was already using the internet. So I think of YouTube as, oh, I'll click over, I'll see a cat video, or I'll click over and I'll see an IGN thing, I'll bounce. Whereas there are millions of people who turn on their computer and go to YouTube and live on YouTube, and that's all it is for them. It's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's everything at once, and they're getting all the information from there. And that's where somebody like iJustine can make a name for herself and totally be this thing that you'll watch it. I'll be watching a commercial for Call of Duty with all my gamer friends, and they'll be like, who are these people? And I'm like, I gotta explain who every one of these YouTube stars are. And that's mind-boggling, and it's something we haven't cracked at IGN yet. You know what I mean? We put up all this video stuff, we put up all these things and all these personality pieces, and we're still IGN. We're still, our main traffic is people coming from IGN who already know IGN, coming to get their videos there. We haven't broken out to say, hey, everyone using YouTube, let's do this. So went to this VidCon thing, learned about how YouTube's going, how it's growing, second largest search engine, you know, all these jazz, and how people are making money on it, and people are making a career at it. And it's one of these things where I want to be a part of that, and I want to help IGN be a part of that too. Obviously, I love this company, I love this brand. I want to make sure that we're going out there and connecting with those people who don't know us. They only know, you know, FPS Russia or something. I want to make sure that they understand there's other people here giving out opinions, making cool video stuff like that. So, Greg, what was the biggest thing that sort of changed your approach to YouTube? It's something that they actually have that some people don't even know that exists. For YouTube? Like, what about you? From that VidCon?
There were like guidelines that you walked away with.
Sure. I mean, it's something that you'll see a lot now in our IGN videos, right? We promote now, it's Greg Miller, and then right underneath it says my Twitter handle. Why do we put executive editor? Nobody cares what my title is. That's totally useless information. Anything you're putting on screen needs to be a call to action. It needs to be information the user can turn around and use. So here's the Twitter handle, and then I have to call out, hey, talk to me on Twitter. I want to have this conversation with you. I want to keep going. I love using Twitter. I use it all the time. We can still be a part of this. when you're making these videos and you're growing community, when you're trying to do this, you need to understand that it's not like television is, where television talks to the screen and it's over. That's the end of it. This is an interactive forum where we're all together. You have to tell people to like the video. You have to tell them to subscribe to it. It's one of those things, I would watch these YouTube videos and hear that, and I wouldn't do any of that because I'm not that person. But the YouTube audience that's totally dialed into YouTube totally understands that, and they understand why you're doing it, and they're not offended by it. I thought it was very shilly, right, to be like, thanks for watching the video, and I like and subscribe and click and blah, blah, blah. But it works, and people, that's the way that, I was thinking of it more like TV before VidCon, and then after VidCon, you realize it's its own platform, where all these tools are there to continue the conversation, to bring people together, so you can have an actual conversation with people and keep going.
Now, a lot of that stuff is outlined in the YouTube playbook as well,
right?
And that was one of the things I was getting at. Like, what's the YouTube playbook? And if
YouTube
people are interested in it, like, how do they find it?
The YouTube playbook sounds like something that would be completely underground, and you wouldn't. It's not meant to be known. YouTube has a playbook that they put together, and it's like, here is our method to success. Like, they're like, we don't. This isn't a guarantee you're going to get 1 million views on any of this, but this is step by step what you need to be doing to make your videos as successful as possible. And it walks you through pre-production, production, post-production. It teaches you how to tweet about it, how to collaborate with other users, how to do all this stuff. Like, one of the most depressing things for me was, I'm sure if you follow me on Twitter, @GameOverGreggy, I tweet a bunch of IGN links and stuff, and it's because I'm proud of the work I'm doing, and I want you to see it. And I was in a conference at VidCon, and they're like, blah, 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 and only 1 to 2% of your audience sees anything you tweet. And it was like, holy fucking shit. You know what I mean? And so all these times when I'm like, not offended, but like somebody asks, like, where's Beyond? It's like, well, I tweeted about it 2 hours ago. Like, it's there. They just missed that. So you have to, like, if you notice with Oreo Oration and Conversation with Colin, I tweet 3 times. I have them all scheduled out every day. You know, there's one at 6 a.m., there's one at noon, there's one at 5 p.m. Just so I'm trying to cover the bases to get maximum penetration. Without annoying people. Like, I get it too, that you like, there are people who are on Twitter all day long or have alerts and don't want to see me talking about the same thing over and over again, but I want to make sure I'm getting it out to the audience.
You don't want to annoy people while you're penetrating.
No.
That wouldn't be maximum penetration.
Damn it, I forgot that I have the official drink of Maine.
Let's take a poll, Greg.
It's coffee-flavored brandy.
The almost halfway point of this extravaganza.
I'm supposed to mix it half with milk.
This is a coffee-flavored brandy.
Oh, that's good.
It's amazing. It's not glass. This is plastic. Well, that's not bad at all.
Good job, Maine.
I would just add that it is part of an IGN editor's job in 2013 to be on camera. So that's definitely something that we're looking for. People who are good on camera, people who are likable, people who are comfortable.
Which I was not any of those things when I started at IGN last year. Like, I had no idea.
It didn't used to be that way. Yeah, we have lots of people that when they were hired at IGN, they had no experience on camera at all, and it took them a while. But you know, they come around. It's totally a skill that you can learn.
And that's the whole point of this, right? Is that all of this is skills. It's all muscles you need to flex. And you need to train them. You know what I mean? The first things I ever wrote were garbage. I remember when forever I wanted to do this, so I knew early on I want to write for EGM. I want to work for EGM. And the first time EGM announced that they needed a new reviews editor, I sat down, and this is in high school, and wrote 2 reviews, and they were just garbage. Like, they were, and I knew they were bad, and I had friends read them, and they're like, yeah, this isn't that good. And it was just, I'd never done it, but I thought, I was just trying to jump out of the blocks and run a 100-meter dash when I can't even get off the couch. And you need to do it piece by piece and learn these different things.
Love to see you run a 100-meter dash.
I do have a standing challenge against Andrew Goldfarb to decide the fastest man at IGN.
So you've been talking a little bit about Twitter. Like, how important is it to be active on Twitter, on Facebook, and how should people act if they want to sort of do this?
Not like me.
It is incredibly important to be active on all those things.
Yeah, each one, you know, they're all important. I wouldn't say like Twitter is more important than others. They're all different tools.
You can pick one, right? Like, on Twitter I have like 60,000 followers now, a little bit more. And on Facebook, I remember, this is an old GameScoop thing, right, where my Facebook had maxed out and then broken because I had accepted all of you as friends, and then I couldn't accept family anymore, and then it just started randomly deleting people. And so I switched over to a fan page, but I never promote my Facebook page, so that only has like 11,000 people, or likes or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things, you can pick and choose, and you can go with what you want.
Comparatively.
Comparatively. Okay, well, I'm sorry, everybody. Well, you understand that you motherfuckers broke my Facebook. I thought by making the Facebook fan page it would just be exponential. It's like, nope, this isn't. I've not grown this at all.
Yeah, behavior is a very important thing, right? Because you're in a public space, so you use Twitter and you can maintain relationships you made at events and stuff like that, like in the devs and EPR. You can interact with those people on a day-to-day basis, professionally or just casually or whatever. But man, you gotta be nice on Twitter. You can't be an asshole on Twitter. You can't be doing what some people do and call out articles and call out writers and call out outlets.
No, we never said. We wouldn't say that like IGN is above criticism or
Oh
approach.
God, no. That's just basic professional.
But we have a great story about one time when Casey and Greg and I were interviewing somebody for a position at IGN, and we were out to lunch, and we were having a good talk with this gentleman, just talking about what he thought about IGN, what he thought about what he might do in the role if he received the job, and where he thinks the industry is going, and everything's fine, and our food comes, and then Greg just pulls out this folder, and it's full of printouts of this guy talking shit on IGN, on forums, and on Twitter.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've made no bones about it that I love IGN, and I've said this since I first got here. And so ever since I first got here and realized I was going to be around a long time, I started making a list of people who hate IGN. to make sure you will never fucking work here. And so, for real, this has been my dream for 6 years, right, to just get somebody. And so this guy comes in, and I find all these message boards and tweets, and I'm like, oh, hallelujah. And so I print them off and I have it, and I'm walking with them to lunch, and I am literally shaking with adrenaline.
He didn't tell Casey and I was going to do this. This was a surprise to Casey and I.
I was dead quiet the entire lunch, and finally, I think Casey went, Greg, you've been quiet. Do you have any questions? And yeah, I throw it down and I go, what do you think of me? And I look right at the guy, and Damon's over here, and Damon goes, did you just ask him what he thinks of you? And I never broke eye contact. I'm like, yes. He's like, I don't know, from what I see, you're a talented individual. I'm like, what about my Dead Space review? And he's like, I don't remember it too well. I'm like, oh, let me refresh your memory. And I go over on whatever this was, you posted on this thing that, games journalism 2011, it gets worse. And I'm like, this, and you're talking this about IGN, and he's like, well, and he starts backpedaling, and all the color drained out of his face. He's backpedaling and stuff. Because if you remember the Dead Space thing, I wrote a Dead Space review, Hillary told me it was awesome, and we put it up, and then Reddit exploded that I sucked or whatever. And I went on Reddit, I wrote a blog about it too, and this is what we're talking about being nice and we're not above criticism. I went on there and I blogged about it, and I said, I don't understand what you guys don't like about it. Please tell me. Here's my my work email address. It wasn't me being a dick about it. It was it was an echo chamber of, anybody else think a kindergartner wrote this, or a middle schooler wrote the Dead Space 2 review on IGN? And everybody, yeah, it sucks. Oh man, totally middle school. And it's like, no. What's wrong with it? You know what I mean? I had all this, I would say probably from putting out my email address, because again, this is, if you follow me again, I like to pull out trolls and show them the light of day. Only about 50 people email me about that, and most of them, their complaints, I was like, well, that's just how I wanted to write it. This is how we're doing this.
Just differences of opinion.
Exactly. But yeah, this other guy, the Dead Space thing, he talked a whole bunch of shit about IGN in general, and this is like,
he continues to do that, by the way.
Good.
Last week,
I wonder why.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. But
the point is, watch what you say about anybody. If you want to work in the industry, carry yourself in a professional manner, because there is a record of everything that you say.
Exactly. Once you're in this industry too, that shit is permanent. Something you see on the internet is there forever. You can delete that tweet; it exists. Somebody has it, and you have to interact with these people that you are criticizing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that's the other thing to think about. Like Damon was talking about how there are fewer people doing this professionally than there are rock stars. This industry is really small, so between the writers, between the developers and publishers, the many producers, the PR people, I've been doing this for a long time. And, collectively, our entire office. we've all been working with the same people, for 10, almost 20 years.
I tweeted about this yesterday. It blew my mind that I'm in the PAX media room, a couple doors down, and this guy walks in and drops his stuff, and he's like, oh man, he's talking really loud. He's the only guy talking loud. And he's like, yeah, I might go to that party, but I'm going to the Retronauts panel today. Well, I'm thinking about going to the Retronauts panel. It's just, I can't stand Bob Mackey, but, and Jose, he's all right. And then I'm like, I know. And then he's like, I like Marty. And I'm like, I have a hood up. I'm like, you have no idea if Bob is in the room right now. You know what I mean? You have no idea who's here and who their best friends are.
Someone in there probably knows Bob.
Yeah, and that's where we get in this weird line of there's so many people out there who have a blog and then say that they're media, but then want to do this stuff and throw stones from their glass house. If you notice on Twitter, I never talk shit about anybody. Like, I'm not about, like, going out there and, like, I read other sites, I hang out with Max Scoville, I do all these things. If one of them pissed me off, I would never air that laundry in public, right? I would never respond to it, let alone start the conversation about how I don't like this person. But this person who, I guess, I don't know who it was or whatever, has his own blog, has his own site, has whatever he's doing, walks in and thinks he can shoot his mouth off, like, we wouldn't be there. Like, this isn't how it all works together. You know what I mean?
When I took the job at IGN, a freelancer friend of mine who I worked with on some projects, and we'd done a lot of, like, he helped me edit, and I edited his stuff. Like, we were super close working professionals. And when I took the job, he's like, "You're going to IGN? Man, fuck IGN." I was immediately like, "Well, you are never working for me. I will never use you for freelance work." And he applied to take on a project, and I killed that project because no, don't tell me fuck my website and then expect me to give you money to work for us. Yeah.
Yeah, the internet never forgets. No, it doesn't. So as things actually change in the way that we talk about games, like we here at IGN have tried to respond by including more of you guys, including our community. If you guys have noticed, we've been running a ton of our blogs. We have a blog system on IGN called MyIGN. It actually is the exact same CMS, content management system that we use. And you can write on IGN, and you just might have that content featured on IGN.com. And so this thing we're doing, we're actually calling it All Stars, and we have some people from within the community that are contributing to wikis and actually creating written content. Some guys are even producing YouTube videos. I mean, talk a little bit about how that works and what that could mean for people who are looking to sort of make a name for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, for us, like, I think in the past, IGN's tried to spread itself super thin, right? Jack of all trades, master of none. And so we try to cover Minecraft, but it's like I always talk about on the podcasts. I review this game, and leading up to it, I'm the expert on Uncharted multiplayer or whatever, and then it comes out, and I'm on to the next project. I don't sit and play Uncharted, so that when somebody's like, "Hey, let's play Uncharted," I'm like, "Great." I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm getting killed immediately. We have to pass off that role that once it's out in the public, it's you guys are the experts, right? You might buy one game, you sit down with it, you know it backwards and forwards. So what we've been doing, is making this All-Stars program. Ryan Hess is a great example. He basically did the Borderlands 2 guide by himself, and by doing that, by being a standout, by being a good guy in the IGN community, he met Goldfarb, and he met Mike Mitchell, and then he met me, and so like we're all playing Borderlands together, and he's doing all this content, and he's actively contributing and doing all these things for the site, helping us out because it's a community, right? It takes a village. And when his Vita broke, I was able to get him a new Vita. He was like, "Oh, I know you, and this sucks that this happened." And so I was able to talk to Sony, and they sent him one. And I'm not saying that happens to everybody, but we're out there to help do stuff. The other examples, are the YouTube stuff. There's a guy, Shane Louise, I don't know if you know him, he makes some awesome YouTube videos. And I was having a conversation on Twitter with somebody from Games Radar late one night, and Shane just was watching us do it and popped in. He's like, "Twitter's great late at night." And I clicked on his profile, and it was, "Hey, I make cool videos. You should watch them." And he had a link to YouTube. I was like, "All right." Clicked on it, and he had this great YouTube video about that Hilton PSP game, that Hilton was using the PSP to train people, and he ran into the UMD, and he did all this legwork and got it and played it and made this YouTube video. So I reached out to him, and I was like, "Do you blog for IGN?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Start it right now. Go make a blog, embed this video, and put a headline on it and a title, and then I will put it on the front page, and then it's only getting you YouTube views on your video. It's not like we're stealing traffic from you. Sure, people are reading an IGN article and watching the video there unless they click out. But we did that with Minecraft recently too, with Captain Sparkles. You're this expert. None of us are up to date on Minecraft. We're all on a million other projects doing a million other things. Can you tell us what's special about it?" And he said, "Sure." And he made a blog, and he made this video, and he put it up, and that article killed. And he got I don't know, I can't say how many more thousands of views, but I guarantee he did.
Well, and we have stuff like that happen, sometimes every day, where, like, is Sean in here? Sean Allen?
There he is.
There's our buddy Sean Allen. So Sean Allen is our community manager at IGN. Say hi to Sean.
Woo! He was on the Walking Dead Survival live stream with me. Yeah, remember that? Yeah. Keep sucking.
Yeah. But one of the things that Sean does is he actually reads a ton of the blogs that people are publishing on IGN. He'll take those and he'll actively promote that content on the IGN blog. So you'll have, a story from Colin Moriarty right next to a story from Keza McDonald, right next to a video from Destin Legary and Anthony Gallegos, right next to a blog that one of you guys wrote.
And you can screen cap that and use it forever. We did I'm sure we mentioned it on Beyond, but we did COCA, this content conference where we all went off-site as a unit, IGN, and we sat there and talked about what we need to do better, and we all did different presentations. And I was on the All-Stars 1, and I went back to my 1UP profile and pulled up screen caps and did all these screen captures of the messages I was getting from other editors so that our editors could see, like, this is what it meant to me when Dan fucking Shu talked to me. Are you kidding? And so one of the screen caps I did, though, was this article I did called I Want My Money Back. And basically this was user-generated content 1UP used to do where you'd write in a story saying, I bought this bad game, here's my story about it. Mine was about Superman 64, of course. And
Alien!
I have used this clip forever. I think I applied to IGN with this clip being one of them. And when I screen capped and put up there, I saw, Jeremy Parrish is who I submitted this to. Like, that's how small the industry is, but that's also how this works. You know what I mean? That, yeah, you do something on the blog, you tweet us about it, we'd see it, we'd say it's cool, and you'd be included in this content, and then you can use to show the case, hey, I wrote this blog for IGN, and it has 1,000 comments on it. That's something special.
So a very, very clear, very realistic path to employment at IGN would be, say we're looking for a freelancer to review a smaller game that's come out. We'd probably look at the best IGN readers who've been writing the best blogs, the best reviews on their blogs. Say we hire them on as a freelancer, then when a position opens, we first think about who are the freelancers that we trust the most, that we like the most. So that's a very clear path that anyone here could take to employment at IGN.
How important is it to take feedback, would you say? Like, because we get stuff sent to us and we'll say, hey, you know what, this is good, but you need to do this, 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 and this.
Sure. I mean, absolutely. Feedback is important for all of us, both anyone who prospective employees and current employees.
We do that daily. Like, we have people edit our work and say, like, nope, this sentence is garbage. You need to remove it or fix it.
I don't know if I ever said your sentence. Did I say your sentence was garbage? No. Maybe not. But see, here's the thing. This goes back to what we were talking about before, where you guys can, like, how many, raise your hands again, the people who actually do a blog and contribute to a blog or run a blog themselves, right? How sucky does it feel to publish something and have nobody read it? It's like no comments.
Horrible.
It's like, God damn it. Or maybe you've got one or two people and one of them's just the guy that's like, ole, 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 ole. So I'm telling you, you come and you start blogging on MyGen, you start getting input from editors, you start writing about what you know, because to Greg's point, like, none of us are playing Halo 4 every single day and know every single thing that's coming in the title update, and as much as we love it, we just can't.
Casey and I love that game, and we will never understand what CSR means. So come on, Halo 4 CSR.
Yeah, I know what it is, I just wrote a story about it yesterday.
We said it before, we'll say it again. We are the experts until the game is out.
Yep.
And then as soon as the game is out, you guys know a hell of a lot more about it than we do.
But we had a guy that we published, Sean actually ran his story through the blog roll, and that story did, I think, 180,000 views, and it had over 400 comments.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to go from writing a blog, or running your Tumblr account where you don't have any interaction, all of a sudden having sort of the power of the IGN community chiming in on your stuff and talking and having this conversation, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah. Do you guys have questions?
Yeah.
I don't know if Casey,
yeah,
sort of running out of time.
We got about 20 minutes left, so...
you got a mic over here. Do you want to line them up? You ask your question as you walk, and then everything.
Okay, so actually, I know two of the people on this panel. Oh, I know Damon because we were replaced by. But Mitchie here used to write for GameStew. That was the blog I was talking about.
Yep.
And I gladly, as soon as he got a job, he ran away from it. So, Casey, talking about Small World, used to be my PR contact at a public relations firm for video games. And here's the question I want to ask you: why did you go? Two things. Why did you go from a PR firm back into writing? And two, you see, the thing is that even when I was a minor blogger, we actually got some PR contacts. And by the way, PR contacts are very important because they get you stuff. How do you find bloggers what does a PR agency look for before they start saying, we're going to send these people some PR, some press releases and stuff like that, invite them to stuff. What is the thinking behind that?
Well, to the first question, why I came back from doing public relations. I did public relations for Harmonic, so I did all of the PR for the Rock Band games, which was awesome. But I got offered a job to lead IGN, so why the fuck wouldn't I take the job? But in answer to your question, at what point does a PR person take interest in a blogger, and would they be willing to work with them, give them assets, and potentially copies of the game? I think it varies. Obviously, the PR person is interested in getting their message out there. So it needs to be somebody who has some access or some reach. So whether it's, you know, they've got a big Twitter following or they have people who follow and read their blog. But the other thing is just being cool. Like, you know, we were talking about, you know, on Twitter, there's the Will Wheaton rule, like, right? Like, don't be an asshole, don't be a dick. If you're nice, like, good things generally tend to happen. So I think it's a combination of those things. If you run a blog and there's no comments and it's like, you know, myblog.com or something, like, come over to IGN, we'll help you. But you probably are going to have a difficult time getting PR people to get you copies of the game at that point. So,
Case.
yes.
Unique perspective helps too. Like it blew me away when I was working at the newspaper in the middle of Missouri with 25,000, you know, subscribers or whatever, that Capcom and NCAA or EA were sending me games, and it was because I was pitching them that I'm not trying to do another review. I'm taking your games and localizing the content for mid-Missouri, and that worked.
Right.
Also, real quick, for the people who have stuck around, I've been told by Sean Allen, don't forget you get T-shirts at the end of the thing. So.
Only at the end.
And then you follow me to the Fuse panel.
Yeah, and to your point, Greg, too, about the specialized stuff, it's also like where you are. Some people, like if you live in a small town and there's not a bunch of coverage happening around video games where you live, that could be a huge issue. So.
Okay, two quick questions kind of related to each other. One is, how close of attention do you pay to the hits that you guys get on YouTube for videos? And number two is, what are your most popular videos on YouTube that you guys put up?
So, to answer the first question, very, 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 very close attention. We're laser focused on how much traffic we're getting. Now, what are the most popular videos? Our most popular series on IGN currently are our game reviews and then our news videos.
The Daily Fix, is that one that gets really high?
It's one of our top performing series, for sure. Yeah.
And this is kind of silly, but is it really the ones with the girls get the most video, they get the most hits?
Well, I mean, having a girl does not hurt your chances. If you are a girl, or if you know a girl you can put on camera.
Yeah.
It's what I mean, no, but I mean, our game reviews, you know, we just don't have a lot of girls reviewing games at IGN, and so like those still perform.
But there's no really FaceTime in the game reviews.
You're right,
so
like,
just talk over which are great. But.
For one of the things you can't overlook in that I took away from VidCon is regularity and spelling it out, right? You know that Up at Noon's every Monday at noon. You know that Oreo is supposed to be every Wednesday and Friday. But like with the SimCity reviews that I'm doing, or SimCity commentaries I'm doing every day, I say in there, these will go live at 12:30 every day. And now Bobby's saying his things. My commentaries go live Wednesday at 12:15 every day. Saying that drives it. So what you're talking about is like, the Daily Fix does really well. It's one of our top performing series. Is it because of Naomi or Jess or whatever girls on there? Right. I don't think so. I think it's because people are now trained that, I want to know what's happening in the news. I know this will be there today. There will be a fix today.
We have to point out that like the thumbnail, the image is also very important too.
Yes,
we found that.
There's just no denying that if there's an attractive girl in the thumbnail, its chances are much better.
Okay, really quick, do you guys read the comments on YouTube videos?
We are involved.
Comments, yes.
Yeah, Greg is in there every day.
Do you feel you die a little bit every day that you read more comments? A little bit more.
We feel what?
You feel that you die inside a little more every day?
No, it's one of those, I mean, Up at Noon in particular, the fact that we say we're going to be there for an hour answering them has dramatically improved the comments. People are nice community. Yeah, because it's one of those things, we want the good ones to come talk to us. We want to have a conversation. If you wanted to show up and say, I'm fat, I know that, don't worry. But if you,
He's got to hear you at the office.
I get enough of that from a bitch. If you want to show up and just talk, though, we'll talk to you and have this conversation, have this game. And that brings in the fans and the people who really like it. And it also motivates the overwhelming majority, the silent majority, that shows up and doesn't. The majority of people who show up at an IGN article do not comment. They show up, read the article, and go, that's really good, and they bail. It's the people who have an axe to grind that it used to be, that have an axe to grind show up and be like, fuck you guys, blah, blah, blah. Even now in reviews, we stick around and we talk, and it helps, it cultivates it.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Howdy.
Hello.
Thanks, Greg, for the tweet. I was terrified that this place would be packed.
Oh, no problem.
So, I have a blog, and I'm not going to shamelessly promote it.
Shamelessly promoted.
Rationalpassions.com.
Rationalpassions.com.
When your passion is erased.
You have 400 potential viewers here.
How many Ken Levine blogs are right now?
And I know it's, no one reads anything I write. It's my portfolio.
Yeah.
And I'm working with another team. We do a podcast every week, and we do all that. But no hits. And I'd love to do IGN blog stuff, but I also want to be committed to this site just because, you know, I love Irrational Passion. I made it. I built it from the ground up. I want my name to be on that site, but is there like a way to find a good middle ground to, you know, get into IGN and also get into freelancing there?
So the quick cheat is to copy that entire article, paste it in IGN, and then at the bottom or at the top say originally published at
IrrationalPassion.com is not going to file a cease and desist against you.
Plagiarize the shit out of yourself.
Yeah, bring it over.
You're good to go.
And you can even put it at the top as a little italiced introduction, like, here's my blog about this. It originally posted on IrrationalPassion.com, and link it there, obviously. And then at the bottom, put your Twitter and link all that stuff again, too.
That's all I wanted to know. Thanks, guys.
Go ahead.
That's what.
Yeah, I got an irrational passion for some chicken wings.
All right, my question is, let's say hypothetically I'm good on camera, I'm a great writer, I've got a huge portfolio, I've turned out my own content, and I can take feedback and all of that stuff. But still, there's the industry is so competitive, and you know, we get people like Powerhouse, formerly known as Ryan Clemson. People who are still having trouble keeping their jobs as it is. If you have the perfect worker,
Ryan Clemson was laid off and had another job in a day. All right.
doing okay. But is there something to be said for the, you know, that it is a small industry and difficult to get into, even if you have all the qualifications?
It comes down to the job, right? Because not the perfect writer might not be a perfect fit for that culture, for that particular place. So you might be the absolute perfect writer, video, whatever guy, but if you don't fit in at IGN, sorry, like that's just not going to work out. If you're not going to be a good IGN team member, you might be great at GameSpot or Polygon or whoever. It's not. There's more to it than just being perfect.
There's a culture at each site, right? I mean, yeah. I missed something.
I heard you talk and then I stopped.
I said there was a culture. There was a culture at each site. I was backing you up.
Yes. Thank you. Love you.
But I mean, your question seems to be: is there something to how competitive the industry is? And yes, it is very difficult. I mean, I don't know. There's no getting around that. I think there's just more people that want to do the job than there are jobs available. So, you know, like we said, the more that you can specialize yourself and make yourself excellent and amazing, the better your chances are. But it's not guaranteed.
But here's the thing too: is when we're talking about stealing our jobs,